To get started. So, welcome to Flight Experience. Today we're sitting on runway 34 in Melbourne. What we'll do before we start, we might run through some of our controls one more time just to make sure you're comfortable with everything. Then we can get started if you like. Do you have any questions before we begin though? Anything you want to know about before we start? Okay, cool. So, in front of you here, this is what we call the yoke. I've got one as well. You'll see they both move at the same time. Have a go at using that. Just push it all the way forward, all the way back. You'll notice it's quite heavy. So you will need a bit of force behind it in order to maneuver it. So just when you're using it, the trick is to be nice and gradual with the changes you make, but don't be afraid to put as much force as you need there. You can also rotate it left and right. That's how we steer in the air, much like a steering wheel in your car. So it goes all the way up to the 30-degree limit there, just like that. So that's how you use that there. And same deal there, you just want to be nice and gradual with the changes you make. In the middle here, this is what we call the throttle quadrant. So the throttle levers here control the power of our engines. If you want more power, you're going to push them forward like that. You hear them start getting louder. If you want less power, you bring them back like that. Up there. On top of the thrust levers, we've got what's called the reverse thrust. When you need to use these, we'll pull them up like that to activate them. Yeah, so we'll pretty much change the airflow. Cause it to blow in a different direction to help us slow down. When we want to deactivate them, we push them back down like that. On the left side here, this is what we call the speed brake. What that does is it pretty much raises the surfaces of the wings upwards. That helps us slow down during flight and during landing. And the what, sorry? Yeah, that's right. So when you want to use that, what we'll do, it's got a few different settings. So currently it's in the down position. They're not going to come on. We can put them in the arm position, which is this one here. Now what that'll do is it'll automatically deploy them during our landing when we need them. You can also pull them back to the flight detent setting, and what that'll do is it'll slow us down during flight. If we wanted to manually extend them during landing, we pull them all the way back to up like that. We're going to leave them in down for takeoff. On the right side here, we've got the flap lever. You'll notice it's shaped like an aircraft wing. The reason for that is when we're using it, we're pretty much making the wings bigger. So how we operate that, and I'll let you know when we need to use it, but pretty much we pull the lever upwards and then push down into the position we want it in, just like that. So I'll get you to have a go at using that if you like. You can try putting the flaps back up, just put your hand on the lever and try maneuvering into the zero. So go ahead. So you want to lift up, that's the way, and then push down into the positions. Now you'll notice on flaps 1 and 15 there are gates there, so you can't actually go through it without pushing into it first and then pulling out the other side like that. It's kind of like a gate almost. You've got to go through it in order to proceed, just like that. Okay, so we're going to put it in 5 for takeoff because that's what we want. Okay, and that's pretty much everything on the middle section here. In front of you, this screen is your primary flight display. It tells you how the aircraft is performing in the air. So you can look outside to see how we're going. You can also look inside. It's going to tell you both, just regardless of what you look at. It's divided up by your speed on the left here. So it's telling us we're currently going 45 knots. That's just because we're stopped. But as we start increasing in speed, that's going to go up as well. On the right side, here's your altitude. So this is going to tell you how high we are above sea level. In the middle, this is our artificial horizon. So that tells us what our plane's doing in relation to the outside horizon. So pretty much this dot is our nose. It's saying we're level with the horizon at the moment. If we were to pull back on the yoke from here, we'd go further into the blue section. If we were to push down on the yoke from here, we'd go further into the brown section. So it'll move around as we change our different settings during flight. The middle display here is our navigational display, so this tells you where our aircraft is. You can see the 2 white lines here is our runway. I'll start introducing more stuff on there as we go throughout the flight. This display has to do with our engine. It's going to tell us our engine power percentage, so if we increase our power, you'll see our power goes up there. Bring it back, it goes back down. Any malfunctions and stuff will come up on here as well. Fuel quantity as well is here. We've got plenty of fuel for our flight today, so that's not a concern. And finally, the landing gear is here. So when we want to raise the wheels of our aircraft, we're going to pull this one out, lift it into the up position, and then we'll drop it down into there. We're not going to do it right now because we're on the ground. Pretty much just remember when you're using it to pull out like that. So don't try and pull towards you, so I'm going to work you to pull out like this way. Okay. Any questions on any of that? Alright, so we'll get ready for takeoff. It's currently Melbourne's current conditions, which isn't very nice at the moment outside, so what we might do, we might make the weather a little bit better, just so we can see what's going on to begin with, and then we can start making it worse as we go on. There we go. Okay, this switch here is our seatbelt sign, so the first thing we'll do, we'll switch this one on, make sure everyone's sitting down back there. So flick this switch on for me. Cool. We're going to turn all of our landing lights on here, so flick them all on as well. And those two there, yep, they can come on as well. Cool. Moving down, everything's set up here as it should be, so we're pretty much ready to go now. What we'll do, I'll guide you through the takeoff as we go, and then we'll get up in the air. So let's release the parking brake here by pushing this lever all the way forward. Cool. And then you can start advancing the throttle levers up to where my hand is. So just push on them like this, raise them up to where my hand is there. Keep going a little bit further. Just hold them here for a moment. Now what we're doing is we're waiting for the engines to stabilise here, confirming that there's no issues with them. This looks good. What we can do... Okay. Looks to be that there's no issues. We're starting to roll now. What we can do is push this black button underneath the throttle levers here. There's that one there. What that's going to do is it's going to engage what's called the auto throttle. So pretty much we just guide it forward as it goes, so you can keep resting your hand on it if you like. We're going to come cruising down the runway here. Starting to accelerate now. Once we get fast enough, what's going to happen is I'm going to call out rotate. All I want you to do is start pulling back on the yoke. Just put them out there. I'll let you know when to stop.
V1.
Rotate. So you can pull back now. What I want you to do is just keep pulling, and now relax the back pressure there. You'll notice it holds the position nicely. Okay. Very good. We've got a positive rate of climb, which means we can put our landing gear up. So we're starting to come off the ground. So pull this one out and into the up position there.
I feel tired.
That's the way. Very nice. Okay. We're just passing what's called our acceleration height now. So we're starting to allow the plane to speed up. What we can do is start putting our flaps in the up position. So we're going flaps 1 to begin with. And now we can go flaps up. So just make sure you push the flap lever back down again so it locks in that position. Next we'll wind our airspeed. We're going to go up to 230 knots for our cruise today. So you can wind this knob until we get to 230 on the top screen there. Start pushing the yoke forward now. We'll try and level off here. Now you'll notice with this aircraft that in order to stay in level flight, so we're not climbing or descending, we need to position ourselves slightly above the horizon. So it sits roughly about here. So either take a mental note of where it sits on your artificial horizon there, or just have a look outside. You'll see that we aren't really changing the picture outside either. See how it's not really kind of getting closer to the ground, we're not changing the picture on the sky as well. It's kind of staying constant out there, which is what we like. Okay, so what we might do, we'll practice some maneuvers first, so maybe we'll try some turning. So do you want to maybe try a turn to the right for me? We'll start rolling the plane around there. And keep rolling, I'll let you know when to neutralise it. A little bit further to the right. Just like that. Now this angle here is 30 degrees on our angle of bank. You can see it lines up with the largest line on the left there. Now you notice when we start turning, in order to stop ourselves from descending, we need to pull back a little bit, just like that, to keep our nose in the same position on the horizon. So, you know, roughly on this 5-degree line there, a little bit less than that. I'll get you to keep that right turn going just like you are now. See how we're starting to point more at the ground now? Our nose is pointing directly at the ground, so that lets you know that we're starting to descend, so we need to pull back a little bit.
Take rate.
See Melbourne in the distance there. So what I get you to do, once we've turned and we're pointing directly at that, roll the turn back out to the left. and we'll just fly towards the city there. We should get a good view as we go past. Very good. Very nice. Okay. So we're up in the air, we're at our, this is what level we're going to cruise at today, so we probably won't go any higher than this to begin with, just because we're going to practice some takeoffs and landings if you're happy with that. So what we'll do is we'll get the aircraft ready for cruise flight now. So you've got some checks on your display here, which you can follow. So we'll go through our after takeoff checks now. So do you want to read those out and I'll guide you through them? Cool, so that's these switches here. The engine bleeds are on, so that's checked. PAX is our air conditioning system, so that's these two switches here, left pack and right pack. We want to make sure they're on auto, which they are. Okay, so that's this one here. We need to put our landing gear in the off position now that it's up. So if you want to pull that one out and just halfway down, just pull it, yeah. Pretty much just going directly out of the position it's in. So that's easy when you do it. Okay, and last one. So we want to make sure our flap lever is up and there shouldn't be any lights here. If this light was still on, just like that, it would mean that the flaps are still out, which is bad. Because our flaps, when they're out, it means we've got a speed limit, so we can't go faster than certain speeds. But it's off, which means we're good. Very nice. Now the other things we can do as well, if you want, we can flick our fasten seatbelt sign off. So that's this one here. If you want to flick that off, let people go to the toilet for a second. We can also turn all of our landing lights off as well. The taxi light as well, we can come on too if you like. Alright, very good work. So, Melbourne Airport's just off to our right, so we're on the right side there at the moment. So we're just passing it. You can see Essendon Airport, which is the other major airport in the CBD area at least. That's just off to our right side there. We'll keep heading this direction towards the city. If you like, what we can do as well is we can turn on what's called the flight director. So that's this switch here, and this is what most airliners use when they're flying around. So what I'll get you to do is push this heading selector button there. Push the altitude hold button as well. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you indications on your artificial horizon in what you need to do in order to actually achieve what you pushed into on here. So you can see those two purple lines there on the artificial horizon. So what we want to do is put our nose, which is the black dot, in the intersection of the two purple lines. So just roll the plane slightly to the left, you'll see what I mean. See how it starts coming into the middle? Pretty much you're just chasing that crosshairs there. Yeah, just like that. This is what airliners use when they're flying around in order to get really precise flying done. So we can do exactly what we said on our road control panel here. Now we got the city below us there, we should fly directly over the top of that. And then we'll come back in for a landing at Melbourne if you like, unless you wanted to keep flying around this direction, but if you wanted to practice some landings, we can do that as well. Cool. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll start slowing down, so you can wind our airspeed knob down to 205. You'll notice that lines up with the up symbol on your airspeed indicator there, so you pretty much just want to match it up with that. That's going to get us to a speed at which we're ready to bring out some flaps. Next we'll flick our seatbelt sign back on, all of our landing lights as well. And these two here too. And we'll run through our descent checklist now. So we want to make sure that our pressurization system knows where our airport elevation is. So we set that through here. It's currently set to the right altitude of 450 feet. So that's checked. So we're making sure there's no issues with the plane. If there were, the lights would stay on when we push this panel in. So just push the panel in for me. We want to make sure that the lights go off afterwards, which they do. So that's good. Next. Auto brake. So auto brake, what that does is it helps us slow down during landing. So when we want to use that, pretty much we're going to rotate this lever to whatever position we want it in. Now, do you want to do a touch and go or a full stop landing at the lever? Touch and go. So what we'll do, we'll leave this in the off position. Okay, and landing data and approach briefing is all set up, so that's okay. So whenever you're ready, what I'll get you to do now is start a turn to the right for me. And you'll see that that purple vertical line starts moving out there. So it's going to tell you exactly what you need to do in order to get to the heading you've set. When you're ready, what we're going to do, we'll start slowing down a bit more now, so you can take the flaps to the 1 position. And whenever we take out flaps, we want to slow down. So you can see there's a little 1 symbol on your airspeed indicator there. We pretty much want to wind our airspeed knob down to that speed, which is about 185. See our auto throttle will start to set that speed for us, so we don't need to worry about it. Let's go flaps 5 now. Set your new speed on the airspeed indicator there, which is about 165 it looks like. Wind that down now. When you're ready, we'll run through our landing checklist. Approach checklist is done, we don't need to worry about that. We'll go on to the landing checklist now. So what you can do, so you know where you're up to, is you can actually bring this little circle down. That lets you know where you're up to in the checklist. So these switches here, we want to make sure they're on the continuous setting. So you do that by pushing the knob in and then turning it to the right. So I'll get you to do that one for me. Just push it in first and then to the right. That's the way. Cool. Next is speed brake. That's this one here. We want it in the arm position, which is just a little bit back from the down position. You'll feel a little indent there you can rest it on. See that? So that means it's armed, and that light will come on to let you know that it's working. Okay. Next. Here, we'll put our wheels down. Oh, and finally, so we should see a green light on here, which means our flaps are extending. Let's go flaps 15 now. Start a roll to the right for me. You can see the runway where those red lights are in the distance there. So we'll try and line ourselves up with that. Roll back to the left there now. Okay, we'll set our speed to our flaps 15 speed, which is about 155. Very nice. We're just passing through about 1,500 feet above ground level at the moment. So what we can do, we can set our landing flaps now, which is flaps 30. In order to get our speed for our approach, we can look to our flight computer here. It's going to tell us the best speed to maintain. So it's 142 plus 5 for wind correction. So we're going to set 147 on our airspeed indicator there. Cool. Now if we're looking outside, can you see the runway now directly in front of us there, where the red lights are? So the lights do actually mean something. If they're red, it means we're low. If they're white, it means we're high. If they're red and white, it means we're on track. Perfect, you already know about it. So what we'll try and do, we'll try and just hold our height here for the moment until we start seeing some red and white lights, and then we can continue our descent down towards the runway. Now in terms of how the landing will work, I'll guide you through it as we go, but pretty much as we get close to the ground, it'll start calling out our heights. You can see the white lights are coming in now, so just push the yoke forward and start aiming towards that runway. Eventually what will happen, I'll let you know when you get closer, you're going to push this black button on the outside of the throttle levers here. That's going to disable the auto throttle. After that point, you'll just rest your hand on the throttle levers, and when I let you know, I'm going to get you to pull the throttle levers all the way back to the bottom. And just keep those wings level for now. I know it's going to be a bit confusing. You have to imagine yourself as if you're in the middle of the plane. If you're looking out directly in front of you, you're going to think you're not lined up with the runway, but we actually are lined up with the runway now.
500.
So you can rest your right hand on the throttle levers now. When you're ready, push that black button on the outside. Just hold the power in there for a little bit longer.
300. 200. 100.
Start bringing that power back now. We're going to flare onto the runway, so as we get closer, start pulling back a little bit more. Away, nice and easy with it. Don't want to pull back too much, otherwise I don't want to take off again. Just like that.
Airspeed low. Airspeed low.
Alright, we're back on the ground again, very nice. So, that's our reverse thrust. So we're doing a touch and go or a full stop? Because if we're doing a touch and go, we don't want a reverse thrust. Okay, cool, so we'll push that back down again. If we're doing a touch and go, just with your right hand on the throttle levers here, push them all the way forward to the wall. V1, rotate, back down. Takeoff thrust. Whenever you're ready, landing gear up. Very good. Okay, we're just about to pass the acceleration height now, so I'll get you to push the yoke forward slightly. I'm going to try and line up with the 10-degree line here. You'll see our plane starts to speed up, airspeed's increasing. Go flaps 1 now. Now we can go flaps up. Very nice. I did a turn to the right last time. Did you want to do one to the left this time or to the right again? It's up to you. Yeah, do which direction you want to go, left or right there? Right? Okay. I'll wind your heading bug around there. Whenever you're ready, you can level off there by pushing the yoke forward and start a turn to the right. And just go all the way out to this purple line there. Steering to the right. Get that dot into the middle there. takeoff checks now. They're on. Checked. Alright, do you want to go ahead and do that for me? Oh, flaps are up with no lights, perfect. So you can just see the ground there, not a whole lot though. Try and keep flying along here and do a landing. This is more what Melbourne looks like today. Bit of rain, also good weather. So you said you want to be a pilot when you're a bit older? Yeah. What kind of pilot? Do you want to work for the airlines? Or? Nice, nice. I like the Dreamliner. I'd either want to fly that or the Airbus A350. Have you seen those? The A350s? They're pretty slick. What makes you want to become a pilot? Yeah, yeah. Have you got any like simulators on your iPad or anything like that?
On my MacBook I have Microsoft Flight Sim.
Oh, cool. Very nice. You got a bit of experience. Have you flown this plane in the Microsoft Flight Sim before or not?
Yeah, I've flown Max.
Oh, nice. This is a bit older than the Max 8, but a lot of the controls are pretty similar. You didn't have any doors blow off while you're flying around in the simulator, did you? Alright. Cool. So let's run through our descent checklist now. Do you want to read it out to me as we go? Set. Checked. So you can push that panel in. Very good. Cool. So if we're doing a full stop, we're probably going to want 2 or 3 today because it's a little bit wet. We set it depending on what conditions are. So maybe go 3 if you want us to be safe. Next. All set. Alright, and we know what we're going to do during the landing. Yeah. Whenever you're ready, start a turn back to the right for me. We'll start coming back in. And you do flaps 1. Speed set 185. Start lowering the nose now. We'll run through our landing checklist. So engine start switches on continuous. Speed brake arm. Do you want to put the landing gear down now? We'll set flaps 15. We'll do that when you're ready. Flaps 15. We should be able to see the runway soon. It's pretty much directly in front of us. So we can use our display here if you like for the moment. We'll just try and point towards that. Yeah, that's right. Might be able to just see it now in the distance, see where those lights are right in the middle there. That's what we're aiming for. Just raise the nose a little bit higher. flaps 30. Speed set 147. Just keep aiming at those lights there. You wanted Johannesburg next, was it? Give that a go. Press your right hand on the throttle levers, disable the auto throttle when you're ready.
400. 300.
Pulls out 100, start bringing that power back.
200. 100. 50. 40.
Start, pulling
30.
back now.
20. 10.
Speed brake all the way back as well. Should start slowing down. Okay, and then we'll come off the runway here. So if you're going to bump the power up a little bit more, and just on your left side there, you've got that little wheel you can steer with. That's called our steering tiller. So we'll use that to follow this yellow line off the right side of the runway here. While you do that, I'll get Johannesburg set up. Runway now, we can take all our landing lights off, just leave the taxi light on. The runway turn off lights can come off as well. Okay, turn our flap step to 0. Push. The speed brake all the way off. Stand by for 1 second, I'll just reload us over in Johannesburg there. If you want as well, I can change the time of day too, so I can make it nighttime if you like, or I can make it sunset, sunrise, I can change the weather, I can give you failures, anything you want to do.
I think do make it daytime and then engine.
Okay, alright, we can do that. I won't tell you which engine it is, that's no problem. It's going to be a surprise.
Oh no. You're gonna crash.
Alright, just give me 1 moment, I'll just read the time of day. Okay, we can get ourselves set up, so we're going to turn our auto brake onto the RTO setting, so just wind that all the way left for me, set our flaps to 5. Auto throttle arm, let's flip that on. Speed set to 141. our landing lights on if you like. Cool, should be good now. Good to go now. So whenever you're ready, same as before, increase the power up to roughly this position here. Coincides with about 40% power. So go ahead when you're ready.
Fine. Looks like this.
When you're happy with the engine power, just push that black button there.
Good. It's just looking good.
So it's a nice day in Johannesburg here. The sun's just risen. Unsuspecting day. What could possibly go wrong?
V1.
Rotate. Go a little bit higher. That's it. Okay, we've got a positive rate for our landing gear up. That's one. Flaps up. We'll level off at about 8,000 feet. Johannesburg's a lot higher in the air. Melbourne's only 450 feet above sea level. Johannesburg's about 5,000, so it's quite high, but it's okay. We'll level off there if you like, and whenever you're ready, start a turn in either direction. You can go left or right, up to you. Departed Johannesburg, we're flying to Cape Town. Life is great. What could possibly go wrong? Something's wrong. What's going on?
There's no way.
What's it say there? Oh no, looks like we've had an engine failure, a number 2 engine. Not good, very not good. That's okay, we're not going to go to Cape Town anymore. We're going to have to do a landing back in Johannesburg, but there are a couple of things we've got to do first before we land. Start our auxiliary power unit there, so pull that one out into the start position. That provides power to the plane when the engines are off, so we've got to try and get that power back. I mean, when I say that, electrical power. Try not to pitch up too much either, because we only got one engine, so it has to work a lot harder. So just push down in the nose, otherwise our speed's going to go away. Really, it's sad. what we'll do, we'll disable the auto throttle, so push the button there. Before we do anything to our engine, we want to make sure that we confirm that the engine has actually fell. So with the right lever here, that's our suspected engine. Bring it all the way back, push it all the way forward, see if the power changes at all. No, we got nothing. Okay, cool. So I have to pull that all the way back to the bottom. Next, we'll cut off the fuel to the engine, so pull the number 2 lever out into the cut-off position. Switch our power over to our APU for the affected engine, which is this lever here. That's the way. Turn our engine start for the right engine to off. Cool. Alright, and we can turn our APU bleed on. So put this one out and down. And our affected engine bleed air can come off as well. Same with the air conditioning unit for our right side, that's not going to work anymore either. So they've got a bit of off up there. Just like that. Cool. Okay, so we'll continue back down towards Johannesburg. The airport's off to our left side at the moment, so we'll go a little bit further out before we do. Let's do our after takeoff checks, engine bleeds for our applicable ones are on. Packs are on auto except for our affected engine. Next, go ahead and do that for me. So I'll put no lights. You can also push the master caution button. We know that there's an electrical error because of the engine failing, so we can ignore that. Alright, and at this point we probably want to communicate with air traffic control and we tell them we've had an engine failure. So do you know what the call you have to make is when you have an engine failure? It's you have Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. You heard that before? So we've got to tell them Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. Engine failure, number 2 engine. You know who we are. We're going to be returning to Johannesburg Airport. What they'll do, they'll see that you're having an emergency and they'll clear the runway for you. So we have priority to come back down again. Turn back to the airport now. So just start a nice shallow left turn for me. Back there. When you're ready, let's go flaps 1. Set our speed to 185. Just keep it about there. That's a good turn rate to get back in again. The nose as well, stop us from climbing. Nice. Maybe on the horizon to the best of it, but it's about there. Flaps 5. Speed set to 165. See the runway down there? Just up to our left, there's 2 runways, so we'll land on the left one there, because that's what we're lined up with. That left one there. To the left, that's what we're aiming for.
Take right. Take
Try
right.
and put it down on the runway there.
Take right. 1,000. Make rate. Make rate. Make rate.
500.
Make rate.
300.
Make rate.
200.
Make rate.
100.
2 long laps.
50.
2 long laps.
30. 20. 10.
It's okay. First thrust when you're ready. Reverse thrust can be deactivated now. Just come off the runway at one of the taxiways here. Very good work, Captain. Got us back on the ground safely. You can chuck the parking brake on here if you like. Speed brake all the way to off. Down, I should say. Flaps to up. Cool. And then we'll probably get towed back to the hangar because we only got one engine. It's a bit hard to taxi on one engine. Okay. Cool. So that pretty much wraps up our session there, unfortunately. Really good work today though. Do you have any questions before we finish up? Anything you want to know about that I didn't explain, or anything you saw that you were a bit confused about, anything like that? All happy? Cool. Alright, well it's been a pleasure flying with you, Captain. Great work.
There you go.